Every town, every city, every forgotten corner of our world holds tales whispered through time. Whispered through time. Myths buried in the memories of cobblestones. Legends etched into the very walls we pass by. Welcome to Legends from the Locals, where we unearth the stories that have become the heartbeat of our communities. Your host, Kevin, is your guide on this journey through the annals of the unknown. Together, we'll venture into the tales that have shaped our homes and explore the mysteries that lie in our own backyards. So, as the sun sets and the world hushes, lean in and listen. For tonight, we reveal another legend from the locals.
Yo, hello, welcome to the first episode of Legends of the Locals. It's your host, Kevin, aka Call Me Smooth, and my co-host, the one and only, the notorious Wicked, the spookiest. How you doing?
Hello. Legend of the Locals, we're here.
Are you excited for our first episode?
I'm very excited.
All right, so just to let you know, okay, like we don't think let's let the listeners know this is not. We don't know if these are real things. Like we don't know if there's really ghosts. We don't really know if there's werewolves. We're just telling y'all the legends of the locals. You know what I mean? And we're gonna be all over the United States, right? We're going to focus right now on the East Coast in Virginia. And this one here is a little too close to home for me. And this is about a vampire in Richmond.
Ooh, vampires.
Do you know anything about this vampire? Wicked, do you know anything? Have
I
you
don't know
you lived
anything.
here for a little bit? Do you know anything about this vampire in Richmond? Have you heard anything
I've
about it?
never heard of a vampire in Richmond, ever.
I mean, I hope there's really not a vampire in Richmond.
Yeah, I hope not.
I mean, but you like vampires though.
I love vampires.
So you would be kind of excited to see the vampire.
Maybe.
Oh no, I'll be scared. I'll be scared. I'll be shook. I'll be shook. But this one, so this story, right? This takes place in 1920. All right. So at the time, it was post World War One. The economy was growing, urban development was happening, and it was the rise of industrialization, right? So a lot of manufacturing companies were coming around with different hubs of arts and cultures. And it was all influenced by the Harlem Renaissance, something you probably learned in school at some point, in the Jazz Age, right? So the increase in the population due to the immigrants from rural areas seeking urban opportunities. And these opportunities came the railroads. And when the railroads came, now we're talking about 1920s, right? So we know it ain't the most sophisticated or like the best engineered things, but it's pretty good, right?
Yeah, for its
So,
time.
I mean, so we hope. So we hope. That's what we hope, right? We hope these railroads are good, but there's a particular railroad in Richmond that went through this tunnel, and this tunnel was called the Churchill Tunnel. And do you know why that tunnel became infamous?
No. Why?
Because in 1925, it collapsed.
Oh.
October 2nd, 1925, the Churchill neighborhood of Richmond, Virginia. So, unfortunately, they were working inside of this tunnel. And while workers were still inside the tunnel, it collapsed. During the westbound entrance. So that means a locomotive, like a train car, and the workers inside that train car were trapped inside.
Alive.
They're trapped inside this tunnel alive. Um, First-hand accounts, they say that there's a lot of panic and confusion described by the survivors, right? They don't know where to go. It's almost like you're probably blind in there, right? So could you imagine you're working in a tunnel and it just collapses on you? You don't know where to go. There's rubble, there's dust, everything's up in your face. You can't see anything. You're probably screaming. You're probably losing oxygen, and there's really no, there's no sophisticated ways back then to help these people, right? So the other workers are probably trying to shovel them out, move the rocks, try to help them escape from the rubble. Could you imagine? You probably suffocated. Probably a lot of them probably suffocated, and
That's a bad way to go.
yeah, and they probably had heat exhaustion. Um, I couldn't imagine being in something like that, and knowing that you're probably not going to get out, like, and by the time, so few survivors spoke of this one person. They said this one person, his name was Benjamin Mosby. They said he was severely burned by steam. He was barely recognizable when he emerged.
Ooh.
And they think he is what led to the vampire legend. So they also believe that there was so let's back up. So Benjamin Mosby was, I guess, a person that was helping people, right? Helping people in there. They had the fire trucks came, like fire, immediate efforts to try to get these guys out. The firefighters, police, local volunteers, all rally, medical personnel stand by to treat. They stand by to help treat survivors injured. Rescue attempts were complicated but unstable because of the nature of the tunnel, and further collapses. So it kept collapsing while they were trying to save these people. The tunnel kept collapsing and collapsing, and I guess it was getting dire situations, right? And I think after several days, they went from trying to rescue people. Yeah, several days. They went from trying to rescue people to now they're trying to recover bodies.
This ain't good.
No. So, unfortunately, it gets worse. They sealed the tunnel off with the locomotive, and there were still bodies inside the locomotive. So they didn't even go in there and rescue the bodies that were in there. They kind of left the bodies in there, and it became a landmark. It's a landmark. I don't know if it's still there today. I have to research and see. But at the time that they left that train, there was no way to get it, right? So you can't get the people out. So there's just dead bodies in there.
It's terrible.
It is. But this is when the Richmond vampire comes. This is where things get a little weird. All right. So now we're about to get into testimonies and interviews. Like people say they saw it. Now, once again, we don't know for sure there's a vampire. We can go check it out if you want to. Probably gotta go at night. And
get some garlic.
Holy water. I need some silver bullet. No, silver bullets works for who? Werewolves?
Yeah, wooden stakes. Wooden stakes.
Wooden stakes. Okay, that's what we need to have. Wooden stakes, garlic, and holy water. And hopefully that will work. Because the day of the collapse, witnesses claim they have seen a blood-covered creature emerge from the debris shortly after the tunnel collapsed. They said this creature had jagged teeth, burned skin, and an almost unhuman appearance. They say when the creature came out looking like that, and I guess they weren't scared because I would have ran. They said the creature took off running towards this place called the Hollywood Cemetery without being detained or hindered. Like no one messed with it, no one touched this creature while it just took off running. Right. Now, once again, these are testimonies from people from 1925. They said that The creature dashed from the tunnel site to the cemetery. Several people said they saw this vampire or creature take off running from the tunnel to the cemetery. One rail worker who survived the collapse, allegedly spoke of a demonic figure amidst the chaos inside the tunnel. So apparently, this vampire or whatever was running around in this tunnel and not helping people. Baby was eating people. Baby was eating people.
You're stuck in a tunnel and then you just get eaten.
It's not funny. But could you imagine? Like a tunnel. The tunnel collapses, bro. Listen to me. Hear me out. Because you make a good point. You make a very valid point. The tunnel collapses. You're already like, yo, I'm cooked. Like the tunnel's collapsed. I'm cooked. Yo, I'm cooked. And then all of a sudden, some demonic
like, comes and eats you.
It just comes and eats you.
You're like, man, I hope this can get me out.
No one situation. Like, could you like, damn, the vampire gonna eat me, dog. So, I don't know I don't know. Would you rather be buried alive or eaten by a vampire? Like, what would you rather have?
Being buried alive and then you're running on oxygen seems kind of slow. I think I'd rather just get eaten at that point.
Just drain my blood, man. Like, what could I do at that point, right?
There's too much going on. I'm in this tunnel, and maybe I'm about to escape. I just get bit and then die.
Maybe. Well, maybe this vampire's like, nah, nobody's escaping. You know,
kills everyone.
It kills everyone, you know, because so they say this creature that took off running towards the Hollywood Cemetery. They say it's seeking refuge in the mausoleum of the WW Pool. I guess that's someone. I don't know who WW Pool is. I didn't research these people because it doesn't matter. We're here for the legends. We're here for the stories of these haunted and unhuman like creatures, right?
We're here for the ghouls.
Right? We're not here to research these people where they went. We want to know what actually happened, right? So there's more, right? So now the local newspapers. So let's back up. So they said that the demon. I can't even say the word. Demonic, is that how you say it? Demonic figure? Demonic. I can't even speak. I was laughing. Demonic figure. They said some children witnessed seeing this creature. I guess he just walks around Richmond. I guess he's just walking around
in the daylight.
I guess so, because these kids are saying they saw it and were too terrified to speak immediately after the incident. Like, so some kids saw it. He was just walking around, like, I guess he was full from already eating the people in the tunnel. I don't know, but I'm crazy. I'm assuming this is what happened, right? So the newspapers get involved, right? The newspapers are like, "Yo, what's really going on? Like, what we really talking about out here, right?" So it became such a legend, hence the name of our podcast, Legend of the Local, that they couldn't tell if things were actually being told to them truly or fictional. Like, the lines became very blurred between actual testimonies and fictional accounts, right? They also say an elder woman, years later, claimed that her grandfather had seen the vampire, but was always hesitant to talk about it, fearing ridicule. So several people have said this vampire exists. Now we have kids, we have people that were inside the tunnel about to die, this vampire ran by. We have people saying outside of the tunnel that the vampire came outside, was running around, looking around at people, and took off running towards the cemetery. Kids have said they saw this vampire. And now this lady is saying, elderly lady is saying that her grandfather actually saw the vampire. Now, with all that being said, they're saying they can hear eerie cries and noises near the mausoleum. Now, so I don't think vampires can cry though. Can they cry?
I've never, not
I
even in
mean,
like,
I mean, outside of like, what's that movie everyone like? True Diary or Diaries or Vampires? I
Vampire
don't
Diaries.
know. What's it called?
Vampire Diaries.
Is that what it is? With a dude, doesn't he like fall in love with some chick and he cries
That's
in that movie?
Twilight, isn't it?
Twilight. There we go. Twilight. Yeah, yeah. Like,
Twilight was horrible, but
I mean, does that give a good depiction of vampires or no?
I don't think so. If you're burnt, I don't know how you'd be able to cry. Like the skin and the flesh around your eyes kind of messed up. I don't see how you would be able to cry.
I
And then
don't I
you're a
don't
vampire.
understand.
What reason do you have to cry? You're out here like eating people, walking around, scaring
why
children.
would why would you cry, right? Like
Yeah, there's no reason to cry.
what's there to cry about? Like
No
there's
one's even
nothing.
trying to kill you. No vampire hunter is going to find you. You're just like chilling in Richmond. No reason to cry.
There's no Blade coming to get you. Blade's not coming to get you. Blade we know is fake. This vampire we don't know, but Blade we know Blade's fake. The vampire hunter is not going to come and get you, right? So here are different theories that the locals have about this vampire. All right, now here's theory number one: misidentification, which I agree with. I think they say an injured worker from the tunnel. Remember, I told you about the Benjamin guy from the tunnel collapse, covered in blood and severely disfigured. They say might have sought refuge in the cemetery. And they're thinking maybe over time his image got intertwined with the mausoleum. They're thinking like, okay, the dude was all broke up from the joint falling on him, the tunnel falling on him. He's burnt. He's a Chris. He's Freddy Krueger, I guess. And I guess he didn't want people to see him. Like I don't know. Maybe he didn't want people to see him. You know,
You
maybe
escape the tunnel,
huh?
try to look for help, and people like vampire.
Yeah, there you go. Right? He's probably like, I need help. He probably
Help me! I'm burnt. I'm hurt. Oh my god, it's a monster! It's a vampire.
And he probably took off running like, yo, they about to kill me. Like, so he probably was burnt up, disfigured. You know, that's I lean towards that. Now here's another one. They say in the Gothic community, the Hollywood Cemetery was known for mausoleums and haunting beauty. It might have been provided let's say a backdrop for supernatural tales. As a result, the mausoleum became a local point of a legend. So we should probably look up this mausoleum afterwards. Matter of fact, let's look it up right now. We can look it up right now. Let me share that you guys on here at the podcast can't see it, but who cares? This is our stuff. We do what we want over here. Let's see. The Hollywood Cemetery in Richmond. Oh, look at this. Let me share my screen with you so you can see this. I love technology. So awesome. All right, so this is the mausoleum. I guess this is it right here. We'll show y'all pictures on the post edit, but this looks like. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That looks like that should be the mausoleum. Let's look up WW Pool. So there we go. I guess this is let's bring it up. Let's look at that. Look at this. This is kind of creepy. So let me describe it to you. Like it's a to the listeners. It's a tomb. It's WW Pool's tomb.
It is pitch black in there.
Yeah, it looks like it is a straight. It has a gate. You see the gate?
Oh yeah.
Let's get closer. You see that?
That looks gnarly.
So I guess that's where the vampire lives. I guess he lives in this tunnel, and this is the cemetery that he ran to. I want to have. You think they have a picture of the vampire?
They didn't take photos back then.
Let's see, Richard Vampire. Let's see what we can find.
They maybe got a newspaper on it, like a newspaper image.
Oh, look at this one. Look at that.
Oh.
The Richmond Vampire. It looks like a werewolf. They have a picture of this guy. It looks like a werewolf. Uh, let's see. Yeah, it looks like that looks like a werewolf. That's not a good. That's not a good thing. You're probably right. They couldn't take pictures of this guy running, taking off running and stuff. But oh, look at this one.
Ah,
And there's several books about this Richmond vampire, the return of the Richmond vampire. So this looks kind of crazy. Look at this. This is creepy. This is a Facebook page. They actually have a Facebook page for the Richmond vampire.
like,
It's a
oh my god,
painting.
just dedicated to him.
It's dedicated to the Richmond vampire. Let's see what we can find on this page. Oh, so this is the mausoleum. This is actually it. So this is what they say. This. Oh, it's like gated off now too. Look at that. Look at that. You probably can't even go up in that joint. So you're telling me you were going there?
No way.
Like, okay, $1,000. If I paid you $1,000, would you go in there?
No. You could bring like the entire Scooby-Doo gang, and I still would not go in there. I'd sit in the mystery machine and I'd just
wait for them to figure it out on their own.
Yeah, I'd wait this out. That looks terrifying. If I went in there, I'm not coming back out.
Look at that. Yeah. So that is so people are still believing that there's a vampire that lives in Richmond. That's very interesting. This is a very interesting concept. So they also found out. So going through it, as the stories went on and of the vampire spread, and added things to it and more firmly to the cemetery and extension. Some people really believe this vampire exists. They think that the vampire. If we look at this, the old field. Look at that. Like people really believe this vampire. I'm sorry, this
Oh my god.
Yo, does this vampire actually exist? I'm shook.
Ain't no way.
So on Wikipedia, they say it's the Hollywood vampire as well. It says.
That's a good name.
Yep. So same kind of concept. They don't know. They think it exists pursued by. So look at this. So check this out. According to this newer story, they said the tunneling, when it collapsed, it awakened an ancient evil that lived under Church Hill, and it brought the tunnel crashing down on the workers. Rescue teams found an unearthly blood-covered creature with jagged teeth and skin hanging from its muscular body, crouching over one of the victims. So hold on. Before we read this article, before we read this Wikipedia, we just already said this thing was eating people. Did we not?
Yeah, we said that.
So we already figured that this thing is eating people. Like we already knew. Like we are Scooby-Doo. Like we figured it out. Like this thing is eating people.
We're the mystery gang.
Like it's eating people, crouching over one of its victims. Victims with the S, right? So it's victims, not one victim. This thing was eating all the people in the tunnel.
Oh my god.
All the people in the tunnel, your dinner, your lunch.
Dessert.
Your dessert. Your Scooby snacks, right? So it's finished. It says the creature escaped from the cave in and raced toward the James River. Pursued by a group of men, the creature took refuge in the Hollywood Cemetery, where it disappeared in a mausoleum built into a hillside bearing the name W.W. Poole. So, which is William Wortham Poole. They're saying that vampire lives in that grave at Hollywood Cemetery. And I think we should visit it. What do you think?
That's crazy.
Would you go?
Either they're seeing things, or this guy that got burnt was so mind broken from all this trauma, he just decided to go crazy.
That's probably the truth. Because we keep reading here, it says that they had some paranormal researcher groups go there. It's called the Night Shift and the Virginia Ghost and Haunting Research Society. Oh, we should reach out to them at some point. The creature that escaped the tunnel, I'm doing air quotes, The tunnel collapse was actually a 28-year-old railroad fireman, Benjamin Mosby. Remember, I mentioned him earlier, who had been shoveling coal into the firebox of a steam locomotive. So you know, back in the day, you got to use steam power, right? You got to throw fire and coal in.
Yeah.
He had no shirt on when the cave in occurred, and the boiler ruptured. Oh my gosh, bro! Could you imagine how much fire hit him in his face?
Right in front of him?
Freddy Krueger. You know what? This could be the story of Freddy Krueger. This is how Freddy Krueger could have came about.
Maybe.
Like if you think about it, maybe this is how Freddy came about, because this guy is burnt up by the broiler, had no shirt on. He's probably in there screaming, right? Going crazy. Screaming, and here we go. So his upper body was horribly scalded, right? And several of his teeth were broken. There's the jagged. Well, that makes sense, right? They said he had jagged teeth.
Right.
So maybe the coal hit him in his damn face when it ruptured. Could you imagine?
Back, maybe.
Huh?
Got knocked back, maybe. Landed right on his face.
His teeth were all shattered, and like you said, he's probably like in pain or asking for help, but probably can't talk. And he's all burnt up, bloodied up, no shirt on, and people were like, "Yo, it's a creature."
Yeah.
And they're probably like picket fencing this dude, like trying to run after this dude, and he's like, "What the hell? I need help!" And he took off running.
That is mind-boggling. You just experience like the Freddy Krueger treatment. You get out, you can't talk. People just start chasing you. They're not even like, "Let's get you a doctor." They're just chasing you. You gotta run away.
A bunch of minutes take off. So hold on. It just collapsed on me. I'm burnt up. I'm like, "Oh, help." And they're like, "Nah." They like, "Get him.
You a creature."
Yeah, you're
eating that man. What?
Like, what? So he takes off running. Like, I'm gonna run to the river. Like, I'm burning.
I can imagine
I'm on
he was
fire.
just trying to like check on that body, see if that guy was still alive. You're eating him. You're eating him.
Right. That's the creature that was eating people in there, right? They say so. This is crazy. They say witnesses reported he was in shock. So of course you're in shock. A broiler just blew up in your face.
Yeah, just
like I would be in
your skin is probably
too.
melting.
Yeah, it's like, yo, what just happened? I was literally just shoveling coal into this thing, and now it blew out. I have no teeth. My skin is falling off. I need help. I can't talk. Yeah,
no
out of nowhere. And
no anything. You've seen your coworkers die.
Right. I don't understand. That's messed up. Wicked. That's messed up, man. Like, you coming out for help, and they're like, "Nah."
You're a creature.
You're
walking around Richmond, maybe looking for a doctor. There's children.
Yeah, like, right, exactly. He's like, I need help. And kids are like,
I go a doctor. And
right.
The children just running away, crying and screaming.
That's messed up, man. That's messed up. I feel bad for this dude, man.
Yeah, so he's gone now.
Well, yeah, they say he was in shock, and layers of his skin were hanging from his body.
How many layers is there to the skin?
I'm thinking maybe like layers like from his arm, from his stomach, his chest.
You got the surface skin.
I guess I guess he was down to the bone. I mean, imagine if something blew up in your face, like something like that.
Yeah, there's no muscle. It's just bone at that point.
Yeah,
you just turned into a skeleton.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Turned to
Freddy Krueger. I'm telling you, he came out that joint looked like Freddy Krueger. Before Freddy Krueger was around, they were like, "Yo, what is this? It's a nightmare."
I'm so shocked.
They say he did die later at Grace Hospital and was buried at Hollywood's cemetery.
So he did go to the hospital.
So I guess at some point, after these people chased him, I guess he fell out. I'm assuming he fell out. Like, I would just fall out from the shock, right? Like, I would just be like,
maybe we shouldn't be chasing this guy.
Right? Maybe we should actually help him. Maybe we should actually help this dude, man. And I guess. So I want to do a thing at the end, of our shows, and this is awesome and very fun. Do you believe in this legend?
No. I think this innocent worker got blown to smithereens, flew up the tunnel, looking shocked, couldn't speak, but was probably trying to like help me. Look at my skin. Look at my bones.
Like,
And they're
he
like,
can't talk. He
like
can't talk. Right.
creature, chase this guy. He's like, what is going on? Why am I being chased? I need a doctor. He
Why are
probably
they
passes
chasing
out
me?
from the blood loss and stuff. They're like, man, maybe we shouldn't be chasing him, bro. Maybe we should be helping.
I mean, like, exactly. Like, he literally escaped out of this tunnel that just
because if
collapsed.
he's a vampire, why is he running from us? He
Why
could
is
just
he
eat
running
us.
from us?
He could just eat us.
That's
You try
exactly
to check on
correct.
you go back, you back up, we back up. We go when he was looking over that body, like, oh, you're eating him, but you're just trying to check if he's alive. You're just trying to see if you're
There you go.
It's good.
There you go. There's the common sense right there. And that's why you are the resident legend factor fiction person, because you have the common sense here. We have a unanimous vote on this one that this is a legend that is not true.
Not true.
We
Even
believe
worse.
this man
Go
needed help.
into Richmond. You're like, bro, help. The kids screaming. But you
Screaming
managed to
at
get
me.
to a hospital, but then you just die. You survived the
just die.
impossible, but you die.
So
And then everyone knows you as a vampire. The newspaper with your disfigured face on it. You're Freddy
because your teeth
Krueger.
are jagged. Your teeth are all messed up.
It's like Legend of Vampire in Richmond, but you're just a victim.
You're just a victim. I'm really not a vampire, guys. I was just a victim of this joint blowing up in my face. Like
help me, guys.
That's so funny. Like that's crazy how something like this, a tragic event, can spur such a weird and kind of off-settling legend of a vampire, when most people know that, not most people, people that were there know, like, this tunnel collapsed, this man needed help, and as you said, Wicked, they didn't want to help, they wanted to chase this man. And as you said again very clearly, why would the vampire run from humans?
I'm saying he was eating people in the tunnel, but then he just suddenly gets afraid and starts running away from these mortals
to these people. So we are definitely going to say this is a fiction. A good story. I think it's a good way to kick this thing off with us. I think next week I'm going to have a good one. I haven't decided. I haven't decided how which legend we might do next, but here's some ideas. Thinking of, a little spoiler alert, you know what I mean? Have you heard about the legend of the Bunny Man?
Bunny Man? There's Mothman, there's Goat Man, but Bunny Man.
Bunny Man. Now, I've heard of this legend. Like, I've heard this legend when I was a kid. I've heard of this legend, and I know exactly where the Bunny Man Bridge is. So here, let's take a vote. So we could do next week the legend of the Bunny Man, the lady in red at the Waverly House.
Ooh.
There's one that I think will be really good, because remember when you lived in Stafford here, there's a church in Stafford, Virginia, and this is called the Legend of Aquia Church. They say that it's believed to be haunted by spirits of two young lovers that were killed in the 18th century. So, Wicked, it is your choice. We have a choice of the Legend of the Bunny Man, the lady in red at the Waverly House, or we can deep dive into the Legend of Aquia Church.
I'm gonna have to go with the Bunny Man.
Bunny Man?
Yeah, I'm deathly curious.
All right, here's a synopsis of the Bunny Man. This is one of the Northern Virginia's most famous urban legends. The story talks about a man dressed in a bunny suit who attacks people with an axe. The Bunny Man is particularly associated with the overpass in Clifton, Virginia, often referred to as the Bunny Man Bridge. Any final words, Wicked?
That bunny like attacking people. I don't know if the audience, if you guys know, but if you know Puppet Combo, they have a game just like that. A man in a bunny suit goes around hurting people.
Wow.
I wonder if it's based off of that.
Wow. It could be.
It could
But
be.
we're going to find out next week on Locals.
Legend of the Locals.
And there you have it. Another tapestry of tales woven from the very heart of our communities. Remember, legends aren't just stories. They're echoes from our past, reverberating into the present. If you've enjoyed this journey into the shadows of local lore, don't forget to subscribe and share Legends of the Locals with fellow legend lovers. We'd also love to hear your local legends. Reach out, and your story might just become part of our chronicle. Thank you for traveling with us down these winding roads of myth and memory. Until next time, keep your ears open and your curiosity alight. For legends live not just in old books and whispered tales, but in the very air we breathe. Farewell, dear listeners, and may legends always light your way.